Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about the week's TV news because it's that time of the week where every time we talk about a lot of stuff, there's always new shows to talk about. If there's something that's not got a name, we have fun and try and name it. We generally just have a bit of fun at the end of the week and talk about stuff that might be interesting. This is actually going to be a shorter episode than the past 3 months of news because it was actually a quieter news week.
Oh, we're getting back to what we used to consider normal.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it could actually just be dead now for the rest of the year, for all we know. Like this could just be the slump.
The problem is, you say this, but I feel like those times where we go in thinking, it's not much, it's fine. That's where we tend to kind of let ourselves kind of just go off on things. We don't try and stop it.
Well, that's okay because last week was like 40 minutes, but it was 40 minutes of nothing but news after news after news. At least this week, I don't feel that guilty if we spend 5 minutes on a tangent about something else.
Exactly.
Like this tangent about us tangenting.
About tangenting, yeah.
So yeah, we'll get straight into it then. Well, after the tangent about tangent, we'll get straight into it. First up, we get a new trailer for 24 Legacy, which of course is hitting, as the trailer tells us, after the Super Bowl, which I think is in February. I believe that's when the Super Bowl takes place. It's just a sort of guess from memory. American football fans will, of course, know that. They'll know the date already. They'll be like on the ball, as it were. But we both watched this trailer, and I'm someone who watched 6 seasons of 24. Never seen the final 2 seasons, or technically final 3, because there was that sort of mini that they came back for that was like 12 episodes, called Die Another. Was it Die Another Day? No, that's a James Bond movie.
I was just thinking, did they name it after that?
Oh god, what was that? What was the mini one called? That was essentially season 9. Oh, I can't remember.
I don't know, because I never watched it, so I didn't pay attention.
But no, I watched the first 6 seasons. I fairly enjoyed seasons 1 through 5. 6 wasn't very good, which is probably why I never came back for 7 and 8. Admittedly, had I been watching week to week, I probably would have just watched to the end. But I binge watched 6 seasons of it over a couple of months.
Yeah. So yeah, my brother was really into it. So I've probably seen a grand total of maybe 6 minutes across 4 seasons or so.
But the important thing is that those 6 minutes were in real time.
Yeah, I picked that up, I'll be honest. Although I never once saw him go to the toilet.
Well, to be fair, you only watched 6 minutes of it. That's
true, and odds are against me. But does it happen?
I don't remember him ever going to the toilet, but they did have ad breaks, and that time did pass in the ad breaks.
Okay.
So there was a window there for him to piss and eat and do whatever. And it was always conveniently the exact amount of time that a car journey would take. They'd get in a car, ad break, come back. Oh, we're here.
See, that's the thing. When you've got a gimmick like that, you have to really plan strategically for this thing.
Yeah, you really do. So it's more of a game of chess than it is an actual show in terms of writing it. I mean, but we both watched this trailer, and it seems fine. I don't have a whole lot to go on. There's nothing about it. I will say this. This almost feels like a weird way of praising something, but I will praise it in that I have no concerns yet. If that makes sense.
I get that. My problem is it kind of just seems, as someone who's never watched it in 24, it seems really generic. And I watched this trailer 5-10 minutes ago, and I can barely remember most of it. Nothing in it was particularly memorable.
That's fair. I think 24, even you could take any season of 24 though and probably cut a trailer, and it would look like it was just a generic action thing.
I get that. That's why I'm not really making it a big complaint. It's just as a trailer, it's just Yeah.
New cast seems fine. It's nice to see that they're keeping the old split screen thing when it shows you what's going on in different places at the same time, and all that stuff. It was just kind of an elaboration on what we'd seen from the trailer during pilot season back in May when they were showing stuff from the TCAs and all that. But yeah, it looks fine. It looks like an action show. It looks, I mean, I'll say this, between this and MacGyver, this looks like there's potential.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm saying, it was really unmemorable and it looks generic, but it wasn't bad either, but it just didn't give me anything that I feel I should be excited about as someone who wasn't a fan of the show already.
Yeah, but as someone who did like 24, at least what I watched of it for the most part was that it was all in the tension and it building and which is something I don't think you really get across in a trailer because I don't think I can look back at 24 and tell you that any of the actual plots of the villains or whatever in and of themselves were that interesting.
No, I get that. It's something that is hard to make a trailer for because it does just turn into here's some action because you've got to sell it on something.
Yeah.
And
so,
I do understand that.
But yeah, it looks fine. So that's obviously something we'll at least be covering the first episode of, and we'll see how it is when it hits. But yeah. So let's get into some partially unfortunate news.
Mm-hmm.
This is about Star Trek Discovery in particular, which is the new show coming in May. It's part of CBS's streaming service, but Netflix and the rest of the world. And this is that Bryan Fuller, who was the showrunner, has stepped down from that role. He, of course, has still got a hand in the show. He's still a producer, and he still wrote the first 2 episodes, and he's helped map out what the mythology and the plot of the first season is. But basically, he has too many shows going on, namely American Gods, which
I think it was the delay, wasn't it, that's caused this.
And because of that, it's now overlapping with his other commitments, and he can't stay on. So he is actually sort of given the reins over to fellow producers Gretchen Berg and Aaron Harberts, who I'm not familiar with them, but as much as this is kind of like bad news, it's also there's nothing in it that's like, oh, it's not like you give it to someone like, oh, I know that person and they're terrible, or there's no warning signs yet, I don't think.
Yeah, there's a few things. Like I say, it was a time and commitment thing because of the delay. It clashed with other things. It's not like it was a creative differences. If it was that, I'd be very worried.
Yeah.
He's still written the episodes. He's planned stuff out. So even though he's not actually showrunner, he's still laid most of the groundwork for at least this first season.
Yeah, and it reminds me a lot actually of J.J. Abrams and the way he'd start shows. Like Lost, he came in, he wrote and directed the first, I don't know if he wrote actually, but he definitely directed the first couple of episodes, the big 2-hour pilot, and he was like there at the start, like helping build what this was. But then he left. He had nothing to do with the rest of the show.
Yeah, hands the reins over to the others.
Whereas I feel like Fuller will be back and still involved in this as the seasons go on. But
yeah, like I say, he's still listed as was a producer or executive producer maybe?
Possibly both, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe both. But the point is he's still got some level of involvement. And I think it is just a case of time commitments and he'll do what he can where he can.
Yeah, I feel like when they're breaking stories for season 2, you'll still be there between seasons, if that makes sense, because it won't be conflicting with things or whatever. So kind of bad news, but not necessarily a big deal either.
Nothing that makes me worried about the show or less excited.
So that's coming next May, which we're looking forward to. So, alright, next up, speaking of shows kind of coming back, there's a revival apparently in talks at NBC for Will and Grace.
Why?
Well, they honestly, there's not a lot of concrete information yet, but apparently after they did an election themed video, the cast reunited like a month ago for this like online election video, and everyone liked it, and everyone who liked the show was, oh, this is great seeing them together again, blah blah blah. And it seems that NBC are trying to make an actual comeback happen. I will flat out say that I have never seen a single episode of Will and Grace. I have no
I've
opinions
seen a couple
on
here
it.
and there.
Yeah.
It was fine. And again, it's one of those things where I feel like you probably have to actually watch it and care about the characters.
Yeah, sure. This, of course, was a sort of late 90s, early 2000s sitcom, which was very popular. I just never watched it. I mean, also, I wasn't really at an age where I'd even want to tune into a show like that.
Yeah.
When it aired, so, yeah. So, nothing else to add on that. Now, on to the new shows, and we have an untitled comedy.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. About synchronised swimmers.
Okay. Before you even go any further, I've got a title.
I've got one.
Out of Sync.
That was mine, you dick.
I haven't even heard the description. I have not heard this ahead of time. Just for anyone there, I've never heard about this. He's had time to think about this, and look at that.
No, I thought of it when I read it earlier. I didn't think about it, and then then
Sure.
come up with it. Oh God, it's from writers Ian Brennan, who's the co-creator of Scream Queens and Glee, and Diablo Cody, who of course is known for Juno and some other movies and stuff. And this is coming from Fox, and it's a single camera comedy which tells the story of Marion Lolo, who has 26 synchronised swimming medals, 1 restraining order against her, and 0 friends.
Okay, it's a strange premise, but I'm not against it. Some reasonable talent attached.
Out of Sync was my title. I just want to make that clear.
It was mine too.
And
I think what this says is if they don't call this Out of Sync, then what the hell are they doing?
And ironically, we were in sync with thinking of a title.
Scarily so.
Jeez. Yeah, so it sounds fine. There's potential. And the fact that someone who was involved in Scream Queens is involved is probably the most exciting part, I think, for us.
And Juno.
Yeah, I like Juno, sure. But
I love that movie.
I like Scream Queens more.
Probably kind of level footing for me, personally.
Alright. That'll take us on to CBS, everyone's favourite. They're developing a new comedy, which is...
Please don't tell me it's another multi-camera comedy with a laugh track.
It is... It doesn't actually mention, so I assume it's not multi-camera. I assume it's traditional single camera. LL Cool J is producing the show, actually, for CBS. And it's titled Brotherhood, and it's based on a UK show of the same name.
I'm not familiar with it.
Nah, me neither. Never heard of it. It follows 2 brothers who find their lives turned upside down when they have to move in together to raise their 10-year-old younger brother. Which to me sounds very 2.5 Men.
That's what I was just thinking.
But,
Concerning.
I wouldn't say I'm concerned, I would just say I don't care. Is how I'd put it.
Well, that too. I mean, how often do you care about something from CBS?
Not often, and this week was another reminder that we shouldn't care about things from CBS. Check out our review, of course, of The Great Indoors, which features people that we love. Joel McHale and Stephen Fry. Link in the corner. Although the short version is, don't watch it.
Yeah,
but you can check out our thoughts on that. But yeah, and that'll take us on to our last bit of news.
Oh, Jesus, this really is short.
I know. Look at that.
What's going on?
Look how quick that was. AMC is teaming with Channel 4 in the UK to produce a show called Loaded, which is being described as a comedy drama hybrid. So I assume it's like a 40-minute, an hour-long drama, which is
sounds like it,
but is a comedy. However, it's actually based on a sitcom from Israel.
Okay. I thought you were going to say like a sitcom from Channel 4 or something in the past.
No, Israel, which is a name that I'm not going to pronounce. Obviously, it's from a different language, but it's.
You try anyway, just for the. Yeah.
Mezudarim.
I have not. I don't see the word spell out, so I don't know how close or awful that was. But
I'm just going to go with it. So Loaded, it's going to be 8 episodes. It's set to premiere in 2017. It'll be on AMC in the US, Channel 4 in the UK. The original series is based. The original series that it's based on. The premise is 4 friends find themselves unfathomably wealthy after they sell their gaming startup to an American company. It seems like this version, it'll be a British group of people who sell it to an American company, and that'll be the premise. And it's just about them being filthy rich to the point where they are tested.
This sounds to me like it's going to be essentially a group of awful people doing awful things. I love it.
If that's what it is, then
yeah. Well, I mean, you tell me, these people all get money and they gotta do stuff. It's like, if they're not all awful people and do awful things to each other with it, I'm not as interested.
Yeah, I'm not. That sounds fine. I'm not jumping for joy. I can see potential, but at the same time, I'm not like.
I'm interested to see how the collaboration goes between the 2 networks.
It's not the first time.
What else have they done?
I'm pretty sure AMC was a co-production on Humans as well.
Oh, I never checked that out. How was that?
I watched the first few episodes. It was not bad. I didn't love it, but I liked what it was sort of getting at.
It was something I meant to get around to and just never did.
Honestly, I think trying to watch the rest of it now after watching Westworld would be a really weird experience because it's essentially a lot of the same themes.
Yeah, I got that from just, the trailers at the time. But
Season 2 is coming soon of that, actually.
it is very soon, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's this month. It's the end of October. Season 2 is kicking off.
So in like 3 days at most.
Yeah, something like that. It might even have been like this weekend, tonight even. It may have been tonight, for all I know. But it was.
We're really not well informed for a TV podcast, are we?
No. To be fair, we weren't covering it though. Like
That's true.
the stuff we cover, we have our dates locked down. This is something we weren't covering because we didn't watch season 1. So
That's fair.
But yeah, that's the news. That's it. That's all of it.
I don't.
Well, is there something else you'd like to talk about? Get off your chest.
Or you just like make up a news story and just go with it, have some fun.
Oh, there is one bit of news actually.
See, now I'm not going to believe this, no matter what it is.
Your mermaid show.
I'm calling bullshit already.
All right, there's no more news. That's the extent of it this week. But yeah, as I said, Great Indoors started this week. We reviewed that. It was terrible. You can check that out. All the other usual stuff. We were a bit late on Arrow, and also it's worth mentioning that Timeless got skipped this week. Don't worry, it's not getting left behind. We are going to do episode 4 along with episode 5 when we do episode 5 this coming Monday night, Tuesday, depending on when it is. It depends on the schedule. Sometimes it's later that night, sometimes it's the next night. But whenever we do that, we will do the previous episode too.
Also, Black Mirror. What are you doing? Go watch it.
Of course, yes. All 6 episodes of Black Mirror season 3 are up. The reviews, you can go and check them out. Watch it on Netflix. It's well worth checking out if you haven't already. And that's us. Yeah, that's the week in TV. So thank you very much for watching. Let us know what you thought of any of this news in the comments below. Although a lot of it wasn't that interesting, if we're honest.
Yeah.
So if you have anything to say it. But otherwise, guys, like and subscribe helps us out a lot. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.